ukabila ndio kwao. Hardcore shafika, ukweli na hakika, kadiri na shika, furaha wala hiki. Kwenda kwa mashabiki, waji kuziki, beef na fiki, hit na dhiki, muda muna wiki, mimi na himziki, split ni mukiki, kutafuta ziki, kwa makini mfulisa, mchima la sili, feel me.
Don't you know we're talking about a revolution song?
Own self, and you don't realize it. You don't realize it, that God has been imprisoned. The devil was able to imprison God. So right inside your own self, your God self has been imprisoned, and you have a false sense of self running rampant inside the temple. This is why, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We have to bring reality's temple here on earth. Reality's temple here on earth.
Yes, sir.
We have to realize the enemy is running rampant inside this temple, and we have to recover.
Yes, sir.
Because white supremacy is a clinical dis-ease. It is a dis-ease, and the dis-ease has been running for so long that they don't need, the white man don't have to continue to kick your ass on up front. He has made it so that he has gotten into you like a virus and you kick your own ass.
Yes, sir.
And it even has trickled down to some of us right here in the so-called conscious community.
Right.
Welcome to another edition of the Reality's Temple on Earth. I am your host, the gatekeeper of this program, known here on the internet as Soul Brother Number 1, Angel Snup Nup 7. I'm just in thought here, because the subject that I've chosen is sort of sad when you think about it. It also can get you extremely angry. A few years ago, I had to accompany a relative of mine so they could take their dog to the vet to be euthanized. And I decided to watch the whole procedure. The animal was given lethal injection. For many, the poor animal was way overdue. I believe this dog was 15 years old, and even the vet said for this particular breed of dog that he had expected the dog to live no more than 10. My relative did a very good job in taking care of this animal that was made a pet. I watched the doctor scrape the fur away, cut some of the fur away, and place the needle in the vein of the dog. And within seconds, the vet pronounced the pet was now deceased. Now, prior to this, I always would wonder, as I studied the behavior of this animal, even as the dog took his last breaths, could its brain comprehend what was going on? Did its brain comprehend that it was dying and that now death has arrived? I wonder about this. From the time we placed the dog in the car and then got to the vet, I seen no change of behavior. I seen no sign that this animal knew or suspected that it would no longer exist. The human being, as far as I know, is the only life on this planet where we know that life will end. So once we get a certain age, for those of us who have a little something something, we prepare for the time when we will no longer be in existence. So we write a will and we wish to be around loved ones because we know that our time has almost expired. In religious teachings, I was told that it was a blessing that I was given life. So my question is, now that I am in this life, how am I blessed? It was a curse because I am born in this life and it is the only thing I know. And then one day somebody will tell you, once your brain can comprehend, because when you're a child, when you're very, very young, you don't even know that you are alive. But then the brain begins to mature. And those who are older than you, who have experienced death, they would tell you, in this life, in this reality, you are here right now. But one day you will grow old, like grandma and grandpa, and you will die. I remember the first time I was told this. I'm like, wow, this is the reason of why people are spiritual. This is why people are so obsessed and loyal to religion and spirituality, because it's a way of trying to deal with being blessed with life. But you know, as surely as the sun rises from the east and sets in the west, that it is just a matter of time. The same way that you came in here, you're going to go out. You don't really know, except biologically, sperm and the egg coming together, but you really don't know actually how you came into being and where were you, what was you doing. It makes no difference. You knew nothing coming into this world, and you were helpless. You defecated on yourself, urinated on yourself. You couldn't walk, you couldn't talk, you couldn't do nothing. You didn't know that you even existed. Somebody told you that you was born on such and such a day. You can't verify that fact. You don't know. You didn't even know you were alive. And the same way that your birth was verified, the same way will our deaths. So is life a blessing? How is it a blessing when you give somebody something and then you know you're going to take it away? That's why I have a question and a problem with God. You give me something and then you take it away. From the very beginning, that was the whole plan. And then while I'm here, it's not peaches and cream. It's not heaven. It's suffering. It's a struggle. It's a combination of all kinds. There's nobody, very few, that could tell you life is beautiful. So how, if life is not is so beautiful, how is it a blessing when it's filled with suffering and oppression and abuse and these other things? And then you die. But this is a reality that we face, and this is a reality that all life forms must deal with. It's a blessing, I am told. And now you spend the rest of your life in fear, in fear of the day that you die. And this is why we are so easily controlled by those who threaten our lives. Unlike animals, you can't control an animal by threatening its life, because an animal can't comprehend. You actually have to beat a dog. You can't threaten a dog. You have to beat the dog. You have to beat the cow. You have to actually do these things. You can't be threatened. So it's a reality. So why do we fear this? Because this is the only life that we know. This is what we know. You will not know anything after this. Anything in your mind after this is make-believe. There's no one from the afterlife. There's nobody from the other side. Sometimes you can talk, and it is because you care. But you can talk till you are blue or black in the face, and you can warn people and give them the best advice you can give them, and they will still decide for them, I would rather do it the hard way. So we are living in a time, and you are surrounded, and I am surrounded by people or persons with a mentality that no matter what you say, the inevitable fate, their rendezvous with destiny, will be one of ill fate. There is nothing good coming to them. However, this does not mean because we care, because we love, we do not try to communicate, because at the last minute, perhaps they may have a change of heart. But according to religious teachings, humanity, no matter who the prophet is, no matter what the prophets say, according to religious teachings, although even the people witness the miracles of God right before their eyes, it makes no difference. They continue on a path of self-destruction. So it is not shocking if people will not listen and are not impressed by the power of God. Why would they listen to this little guy on a YouTube video, on a Facebook video, on a video on social media, bringing to them some kind of warning? If they don't respect or fear God, why would they respect or have a fear of myself, not me as a person, but of the message, the warning that I am trying to present to them? so it is not shocking. But just like the God of scriptures, this God continued to send prophets and warners. But sooner or later, all these things must come to an end. So we must suffer the consequences of our actions. And there is only one path that these are following, and that is a path to death and destruction, suffering, and horrors that you have not yet to imagine that you would fall victim to. I am here to bring us a warning. I am here to hopefully convince you to allow your brain to see that which should be clear to those who claim to have an awakened mind. For the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin. And you should have an obsession trying to liberate yourself from this oppression that we find ourselves in going on 500 years. There is nothing wrong with that. However, when you see, you don't see just what is in front of you. If you have good vision, you see what's on the side of you. Your eyes are able to see what's in front of you and what's on the side of you. Now, if you were like the owl, you could see all the way around, but unfortunately, we're not owls. But every creature with eyesight takes advantage with whatever the eyes is able to comprehend, perceive. So we should not only be obsessed with our own oppression, but as a human being, there are other factors that involve the human being, no matter what your so-called race. It makes no difference. And nature does not care about your race. You are concerned with your race. Nature does not care about you being rich or poor or famous and all these things that we put on a pedestal. Nature does not care. When it is your time to die, when it is your time to go extinct, when you have proven to the universe you are no longer worthy of life, then nature takes you out. Now, unlike other forms of the planet of life, the human being has the ability to control that that destiny or that path. You have the ability to control your environment. If you are hot, then you turn on your air conditioning. If you are cold, then you turn on the heat. The ant cannot do that. The bees can't do that. The lambs and the dogs and the beasts of the field, other animal life cannot control the environment like that. So you have an advantage. But also, with all your intelligence, when you decide to go out, you're going to go out with a big bang. Thus, the fear of nuclear war. Thus, the fear of a big bang that would take all of us out, regardless to your race, regardless to your celebrity, regardless to your intelligence, regardless to who you think that you are, because in the universe, you are nothing. How many great forms of life was probably here even prior to ourselves? We don't know. If you could shovel all the sand from the desert, who knows what is under all that sand? Who knows what is hidden in the depths of the ocean? You have been warned. If you heed the warning, then perhaps you may be given an extension of your life. Or as the scriptures say, if you listen, maybe you will be blessed with eternal life. I hope you're following what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with religion. I'm just trying to relate to those who have a religious foundation and background. What I'm saying, that your scriptures is also saying the exact same thing that I am saying. But I am coming from a natural, realistic point of view. Again, we should be obsessed with our liberation from an abuser. However, we must begin to see the whole picture. What is the whole picture? Let me give you an example of some of the picture that we are failing to view. The so-called black scholars in the conscious community, in the black community, they never stop coming to you, and they keep telling you of how great you are, and they keep putting in your face how great Egypt or Kemet is or was, and Ethiopia and Timbuktu, and the list may go on and on, the great civilizations. Have you ever wondered of why these black scholars, they keep putting all these civilizations that were great, but they never focus on why they don't exist anymore? Why they don't tell you why did they fall? One reason of why some great civilizations fall is simply because they were conquered by other people. Other people were able to conquer them militarily and just destroy whatever they created or built. But what your black scholars don't tell you, and some of y'all are also self-made historians or whatever, then you know that what I am about to say is 1000% correct. Because if you truly are a student of civilization and history, then you know that many of these great civilizations, that they fail. They did not fall because of being conquered by an outside force. Many of them fell because they could not eat. I also heard in Egyptian history that was part of Egypt's problem. Egypt ran into a drought. Egypt ran into a problem. They could not feed themselves. Many great civilizations was not built on gold and diamonds and all these things. Many civilizations was built on something simple that you don't even think about. Something simple as corn, rice, and wheat. And when they were unable to grow the wheat, the corn, and the rice, and these, because all people must eat. You will be amazed if you study corn and wheat and soybeans. You will be shocked how dependent the world is on these grains. And when you are not able to produce these grains, then these civilizations fail because they simply starve to death. In nature, there is something called predators and prey, because there must be a way of controlling the population, because an environment can only support a certain amount of animal life, sea life. So you have predators that was created to keep in control, keep in control, I guess that's not the word I'm looking for, but keep the population in check. But when you have the human being, you are on the top. There is no predator. The human being preys upon him and herself. But even though with all the wars and even the illnesses, the sicknesses, you have a population that has spiraled out of control. And do you know why? For those who are students of history, then you know that after the discovery of oil and the ways that you use oil, look up oil. Oil in your house, you're surrounded by countless things created from oil. Just like the corn, just like the wheat, and just like the soybeans. Oil has become the fabric of life in America and around the world. This is a fact. So many nations is dependent upon oil. And with the discovery of oil, meaning that you can grow more food because the machines can do the labor that it once took hundreds of people to do. Now these machines can just pump out stuff and blah, blah. So you don't have nothing else better to do. You don't have to work so hard. Now you can sit around and make babies all day. So all over the planet, the human population, rich, poor, whatever, is spiraled out of control. And the human population is dependent upon oil. And it is also dependent upon soybeans and corn and the commodities. If you want to study history, then study it all. Don't just study because I want to feel good about being black. Study it all. Because this, which is beginning to happen and forming, is going to affect all of you. It makes no difference with your skin color, whether you famous, who the hell you are. Because a civilization and a people dependent upon these things, when they no longer exist, when they become sparse, then something must happen. And in nature, when creatures overpopulate more than what the environment can support, then you have what we call the die-off. I'm pretty sure many of you have seen the stories about all these birds. You see them dying off. And fish and frogs. Whenever something happens in the environment, in nature, that environment is no longer suitable for that life, then there is the great die-off. We are walking into the great die-off. Those who are in power, those who are in the elite, they believe, and I was told, that the Bilderbergs or Rothschild, all these people y'all talk about, the bankers, all these people in power behind the scenes, they want to kill a few billion people, 100 million or whatever people on this planet, because they understand that the oil, the fossil fuels, that this life that you and I are comfortable with and we're used to, it is running out. The earth is warming, and the environment that you need to continue to grow your corn and rice and soybeans and all, things are changing. And they are changing in a manner it will not be able to support all the people on this planet, regardless to your race, and your melanin can't save you. And these wicked, evil people think because if they purposely kill and cause a die-off on purpose, they can save themselves. That's not how nature don't care about the Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds. When nature begins to do what it needs to do, it kills all of you will go. All of you will cease to exist. The human die-off. again, because of the intelligence of the human being. And many of these actions are man-made anyway. But nature will respond in reaction to what people do. And you are now walking, like they say again in scriptures, in the valley of the shadow of death, and you do fear evil. And for most of you, maybe perhaps it's good that you don't know what's going on. So when death comes, when it comes, then it would be a humane way to die. My time is out. This is a big subject. I just wanted to give you a little something on that. Jot down your comments. Let's talk about it. Until next time, y'all. Love, peace, and soul. We want to talk about something that myself and Lil Wayne have in common. Due to recent comments by the rapper Lil Wayne, there are some, perhaps many, in the so-called black community who are upset with the rapper for his comments in regards to his saying that he does not know anything about a Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with me. Y'all know or have heard of the comment that Lil Wayne made. If not, it's plenty of that type of commentary on social media. But now, I want to relate Lil Wayne to myself. And what we have in common, because of his comments, his most recent comments in regard to Black Lives Matter, Lil Wayne is seen through the eyes of some as a coon, as a traitor, a Benedict Arnold, and so forth. Now, I'm saying this because just recently, now, I don't know how I am a coon. I don't know how I am a traitor. I don't know how I am a Benedict Arnold. I have a certain group of persons who call me this simply because they dislike what I have to say. Unlike Lil Wayne. I mean, clearly, I can see why some may be upset with Lil Wayne. Now, as far as my own commentary is concerned, my own actions or activity is concerned, I don't know where they would get this description from. And on top of that, do you qualify? I mean, I have to ask the question, these persons who are calling people coons and sambos and traitors, who are you? You don't qualify. Are you Malcolm X? Are you Dr. King? Are you Nat Turner? Are you any of those who have given their lives, sacrificed and suffered and even died in the cause? Now, if anyone has the right to call somebody a coon or a sambo or a traitor, these men and women have that right. You who sit behind a computer and type nonsense. You who have not done nothing except get up every morning and go to some racist pink job every morning, waiting on your 401k, 401k or whatever the hell it is to mature. You who have done absolutely nothing. You have the nerve to call somebody a coon or a sambo. You made a YouTube video. You went to the library and learned about some Africa. You listened to Sonetta TV. Who the hell are you to call somebody anything? Get the hell out of here. Your name calling ain't worth the air you use to spew it. What you write on social media is not worth the cyber paper it's written on. Don't mean nothing to me. Because face to face, your pitiful opinion, your pitiful ideology, face to face in person with this voice, you won't stand long at all. It means nothing because you stand on a weak foundation. And so for right now, I'm going to defend myself and I'm going to defend Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne does not need any defense. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to show you why. Lil Wayne is justified in his comments. I'm going to tell you why. It's as simple as this. You want to call Lil Wayne and myself a coon and a Sambo. Now, where are you getting these words from? Coon, Sambo. You getting them from the races. But yet and still, you want to call Lil Wayne and myself, you want to call us a coon. But yet and still, you so pitiful, you so pathetic, you have to call us the words you learned from the people you hate, you dislike, that you say that you are superior to. A bunch of, see, let me tell you something. You're dealing with a bunch of, what's that word I'm looking for? Intellectual, no, functional illiterates. I don't even know if these people understand English. They speak it, but I don't believe they can comprehend. I've said many things and have to say it over and over again. And I know I speak as simply as I can. And these idiots still don't get it. They still out in la la land. But also at the same time, I do understand this. When you say things that people don't like, they just begin to make up stuff that you did not say. Lying on you about things that you did not do. Just for the hell of it. Because there's nothing truthful they can bring. So then they automatically turn to lies and deceit, gossip and slander. You don't have nothing on me to prove that I am anywhere near some coon or a traitor or a Sambo. But we're gonna get down. Y'all want to get down? Let's do that right now. You want to call myself and Lil Wayne a traitor, a Benedict Arnold. First of all, how did Lil Wayne betray you? How did I betray you? How are we a betrayer to you? I don't know you. Lil Wayne does not know you. Don't know you at all. And who are you anyway? You don't have a pot to piss in. First of all, if I'm a traitor, in some way, if you're going to call me a traitor, if you're going to call Lil Wayne a traitor, you must prove that you and Lil Wayne and myself, somehow we have an alliance. Somehow we're friends. Somehow we're family. Somehow we're associates. We have some kind of connection. I don't have no damn connection to you. Well, you black. No, you black. I don't accept that title. I have nothing to do with that title. That is a label that racists gave dark-skinned people. Black and African. There are no dark-skinned people that call themselves black or African. Period. I'm not connected to you. I'm not one of you. I'm not connected. I'm not your damn friend. Because if I was your friend, we would be united. I'm not your associate. I have nothing to do with you. There's no connection. Because you don't want a connection. I'm not your damn family. Lil Wayne is not your family. We are not black people. We are a bunch of niggas in different groups. That's what we are. And many of you call yourself exactly that, nigga. A bunch of niggas in groups. You are not a black people. You're not even a nigga people. You're a bunch of slaves that was set free and everybody went wherever they thought or however they ended up at. That's what happened. I have no alliance with you. You are not my family. We are not friends. We are not associates. The only thing we have in common is oppression. We have similarities in oppression. And you so stupid and you such an idiot, you cannot even unify yourself based on the fact of that oppression so that you can mature and grow into family and build an alliance and become friends and associates and family. Get the hell out of here. Lil Wayne does not owe you nothing. Period. He is not connected to Black Lives Matter. He's absolutely correct. He does not owe Black Lives Matter anything. He does not have to say anything positive or negative about Black Lives Matter. He has nothing to do with it. Well, we bought his album. You're going to buy his album regardless. Lil Wayne didn't make you buy his album. Lil Wayne is an entertainer. You heard his rap. You liked that rap. You went to the store and you paid that money for that rap. And the Caucasian racists make more money off Lil Wayne than Lil Wayne does. You are a consumer. Lil Wayne offered a product, which is rap, and you bought it. He owes you nothing. When you bought that record, there was no contract in the sale where it said Lil Wayne owes you something. He rapped. You paid him for the rap. He sang for his supper. You gave him a meal, and that was the end of the deal. That's it. There was no contract. Lil Wayne owes you nothing. Well, he's black. Lil Wayne does not feel that way, nor do I. We don't owe you anything. No black person in this country owes another black person anything. Especially when there's even confusion in the label. Because again, I ain't black. I ain't African. I am not none of that stuff that y'all talking about. Because it ain't nothing but a response to racism. It's nothing but, or was an attempt to find an identity, and you didn't even embrace it. Because if you was black, if you was black, there would be an alliance. We would be friends. We would be associates. We would be a black people, but you have not unified as that. You have not unified as Africans. You have not unified as black. You have not unified as anything. You too hasidity and confused. You don't know what the hell that you want. Black Lives Matter. And you're killing each other in Chicago every day, in New York and St. Louis and all over the major cities. But Black Lives Matter. But black folks have been murdered and killing and stealing and lying and cheating for as long as I don't know what. But the lives matter. You sound like a bunch of hypocrites. So when racist Caucasian people strike and do something, oh, Black Lives Matter. But right here on social media, you don't know how to talk to another black man, but he matters. You cuss black people out. You lie on black people. You slander and you gossip. Some of y'all even murder. Black Lives Matter. It's all hypocritical. I don't blame Lil Wayne for not wanting to be part of crap that y'all not even serious about. You get angry for a few seconds, then sit your happy ass down. You're not even going to keep it up. So you can call me whatever you want to call me, because I don't lose no sleep. There's no benefit. You're going to keep buying Lil Wayne records. So what? Lil Wayne is not, he's not missing any sleep. If Lil Wayne came to your house or Lil Wayne came to your school, whatever, all y'all talking that crap, you be the first one to want to shake his hand and skin and grin in that man's face. Get out of here. Y'all, but you so fake. Lil Wayne knows you're fake. I know that you're fake. And you know that y'all a bunch of fakes. If you really want to be serious and prove something, instead of running your damn mouth, then create the alliance, create the friends, create the associates, create the people. But that means you got to stop being a nigga, and y'all not ready to stop being niggas. You're not ready to stop lying and slandering and hating on other so-called black folks. You're not ready for that. You're not ready to be ready to love yourself. So how the hell you got the nerve to get angry because of something I said or what Lil Wayne said? Because whatever you broadcast, your little anger don't mean nothing. Elementary school. And as they pass by, you could hear their conversation because they're not trying to be quiet. They are doing what children do. They all loud and playing around, walking homeless from school. And you hear them cussing like a sailor, using profanity like a sailor. So they learned this from somebody. Did they learn it from television? Did they learn it from cable? Did they learn it from reading comic books? Well, I will tell you now, when I was younger and I was reading comic books, they did not, I haven't read comic books in a long time, but they did not use profanity. They did not use what you call cuss words in those comic books. However, in general society, even when I was a child, now I will tell you now, when I was a child, there was some attempt by adults, so-called adults, there was some attempt not to be profane and vile and vulgar and nasty around children with that type of language. Now you do know that a lot of these cuss, profanity type words, this type of language, it is originally called the language of the ignorant. This is the language that you expect ignorant, illiterate people to use. Those who are not educated. Those who are living low on the totem pole. Those who are scratching and surviving, but you never did, well, yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't say that James Evans and Florida Evans, they were users like that of profanity. You might hear them say damn now and then or whatever. But anyway, the profanity was known as the language of the ignorant because since they really did not know or comprehend the English language, they were doing the best they could to express themselves. Also, within profane language, you had words to make mockery of people or even a gender, like the word vagina. You have the word, of course, P-U-S-S-Y. It describes a vagina. All these things come from making mockery, an abuser making mockery of his victim. These words generate from that source. Exploratory, is that a word? Exploitive words. Words made up and created to abuse, cause harm to others. So when we use profanity, most of the time, all the time actually, it is used to cause harm and hurt people's feelings, to degrade them and make mockery. The word mother elf. Elf means sex. Mother. Sex your mother. In or during our sojourn here in the Americas. Slaves. See, we use these words. But slave men were made to have sex with their mothers, just like they do and breed animals. Remember, black slaves was nothing but animals, nothing but chattel. You was nothing but our people, our ancestors. We were nothing but beasts of burden. So you was made to have sex with your mother. Your mother was made to have sex with her son. The son was made to have sex with his sister. The sister was made to have sex with the father. We keep talking all this, build the family and the family this and that. What family? Biologically, you're all messed up because of the slave experience. You would be shocked how many of us are not even biological once the slaves was made free. Remember, biological people were sold from and separated from plantation to plantation. If this was the case, and then you didn't even know where your father was, your mother and your sisters and your brother or your cousins, because everybody was sold everywhere. It's all mixed up. So when the slaves was made free, and I was a slave, and there was an older person that was around me like a mother, she became my mother. She's not my biological mother, but she became my mother. And then I'm not her biological son. We were made free, and we have this bond. This is my mother now. I am her son. And we still do that even till 2016. We have people who we get close to. That's my mother. That's my father. That's my cousin, and so forth. These people biologically are not your cousin or father or son or first cousins. And this is how we do. But you know, when you're family, it really don't make no difference. Because that's what family is about. Family is about bonding. It's not really about, that's nice to know that you have a biological connection, but a biological connection should not be the only thing that make us family. Do you understand? Now, so, again, going back to what I was talking about, the use of profane language, these young children, they were profane and cussed more than I have ever done in my whole entire life. And they was nasty and they was vile, dirty. Of course, you know, many of these children listen to rap music and things of that nature, and they are allowed to watch these filthy and violent movies and whatever. So my thing is really, it's hypocritical. Why are you doing all this bleep, 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 bleep? And the children, what is this, to protect the children? The children or the parents who really are concerned about this, they don't need your bleep, bleep. They know how to protect and are doing the job of a parent. They're not going to allow, or they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not depending on the government to raise their children. So these parents are not in some bar. They're not sitting around boogieing down. They know that it's a 24-hour day in order to raise and nurture the children that they really would like to bring forth. But in the meantime, you have the government, the FCC, is supposed to monitor this. This is the most filthiest, nastiest, vile, vulgar nation probably on this planet. And it's hypocritical to be surrounded by so much feces and dirt, and here you are with a Q-tip talking about trying to clean something up. Because that's all your bleep bleep, all this bleeping stuff is. It's like taking a Q-tip, putting it in a toilet trying to clean something up. What is a Q-tip gonna clean? The children are still vile and nasty. They know how to cuss. They're very profane, just like the adults. Children copy adults. The adults are violent. The adults are slanderous. The adults practice gossip. The adults are murderers. The adults are violent. The adults steal. So the only thing you have Whatever is being done is you just passing it on down to the children. They just nothing. If you don't like the children, then you should not like yourself. You should not like the adults, because that's where the children are getting all this stuff from with your corny stuff. Bleep, bleep, bleep. Don't mean nothing at all. If you want a better world, if you want a better condition of your life, then you must decide to change. You can't tell these babies, you cannot tell these children, don't do as you see me do as I tell you. That looks so hypocritical and fake, because you don't want me to do it. Why are you doing it? Clearly there's something good about it that you embracing. And that's the way a child thinks. What are you trying to hide? Why you don't want me to do that? You need to change yourself. I don't understand. What do you get out of this profane language? Sounding ignorant. Some of y'all really think that you talking some highly intellectual stuff. What are you trying to prove? I remember one time I was talking to some young brothers, and I don't know, for some reason I start letting out a few cuss words, a little profanity. It's not my style, but for some reason on this day, I let out a few, expletives, explicative, you know what the word I'm talking about. And those brothers say, hey man, what are you doing? The brothers told me, don't be like them. You smarter, you're intellectual. Don't be like them. I don't have to cuss. I don't have to be profane to communicate with the people in the street. And how do I know that? Because the people in the street, the ghetto people, the ones who you might deem as ignorant and illiterate, that's what they told me. Don't be like them. They look up to the intellectual. They look up to those because that's something they want to aspire to. They're happy to see us in the best form that we can be and show all these devils we are not and have never been and can be like them and more. I took all my time. I didn't expect that, but anyway, it's all hypocritical. With that said, jot down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Until next time, as always important, love, peace, and soul.